morning, everyone. Welcome to today's video. It is a beautiful Monday morning. It is, what time is it? It's just after 10 o'clock in the morning. Camera's angling at the Toronto Public Library, right on Gerrard Street East and Parliament. Today's walk is another perimeter walk. We are walking the perimeter of Regent Park here in Toronto, Ontario. It is absolutely gorgeous out. You can see the treetops are covered in snow. They're slowly melting after yesterday's snowfall, which occurred early afternoon. In the morning it was pretty brown and gray out, and then it started snowing, I think just early afternoon. Okay, everyone, we are walking southbound on Parliament. We started at the corner of Gerrard and Parliament. The boundaries of Regent Park are starting where we started, Gerrard and Parliament. So right now I'm walking on the very west side down Parliament, and that will take me to Suter or Shooter. There is a bit of a debate on the pronunciation, I have heard. I would prefer to call it Sackville Street. And then across to the east on Sackville Street to River. And I think we ended one of our recent, or no, I did have a recent video, didn't end it. I think it was called River Street a couple of videos back. So we are going to end up there. It was -2 when I left this morning. We're now on Oak Street. And here is Lord Dufferin Public School right across the street. Looks like recess. You can see all the snow on the ground. I'm sure the kids are having a ball, playing in the snow. I remember when I was in school, you guys probably remember too, we're not allowed to make snowballs because that would lead to throwing snowballs. And that was deserving of a detention. I hope everybody enjoyed the weekend. It's a lovely weekend. The weather was good. It's nice to see a true winter. Yesterday with the snow, I wonder how long it's going to last today. The sun is out and I'm already seeing tops of trees melting. And I am hot. I dressed a little bit warmer than I probably need to. But I've just unzipped one of my layers. So it's been quite a while since I've walked this far south on Parliament. So my weekend was good. I met up with my friend Catherine. I met her in Bloor West Village. I did a Bloor West Village video. That should be up before this one. So I did that on Saturday. And that's, I think, around an hour, that video. But that's another perimeter walk. So the expectation is that they will be a little bit longer videos. And then this video probably will be about the same, I would suspect. Now I remember in here, this space, where are we here? This is St. David Street and Parliament. And this big space here, just this caged in space, this used to be it was an elementary school. But it was also attached to, I think, like a family, I don't know if it's a community hub, but there's also another social service in here. And the school and the building on this property, they were raised probably maybe 5 years ago. No, maybe, yeah, probably 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago. And it's been standing like this ever since. Like, there's no access into this green space here. It's all fenced in, and I don't ever see an entrance. This is obviously utilized for parking. And there was signage here once upon a time from the Toronto Public School Board. Let's see if it's still here. We have to turn east down Suter Street. We're going to go as far east as River. Yeah, the signage. See what used to be here? Yeah, it wasn't this sign. It was a different sign. But what does it say? It says Future School Site, Toronto Catholic District School Board. Alrighty, so it looks like they plan on erecting another school. I guess the delay is funds, I would suspect. But it's been vacant for over 5 years. Regent Park, what I recall, and I have a cheat sheet, but it's in my knapsack. But what I recall is, I think it was the early right after the Second World War, I think, is this area was considered more of a transition housing area. I think there was community housing here. And the whole point was for new immigrants in particular, once they're settled or established to some extent, to move out to other parts of the city. And this area was, as they call, a transition area for primarily new immigrants to settle. And it sort of always has, at least in my eye, it still appears to be that way. Many of the homes in the area, or apartments that I've noticed. So I've been coming down here quite regularly for about 10 years, and I've seen a lot of change. Like, these homes have been here, obviously, for quite some time. But right here, right next door, that's been erected within the last 5 years. Actually, I think within the last 3. The beauty of Regent Park is it's so close to downtown. Transportation is super easy. Just hop on the Dundas streetcar, and in no time you're in downtown Toronto. So it is a very convenient location. It's very closely associated with Cabbagetown. Cabbagetown is, the neighborhood's a bit more affluent than Regent Park. And looking north right now, I'm looking north on Sackville Street, and it is, like, you look on either side of the street and all these buildings are new within the last 10 years, new. Regent Park Community Center right here. This was, I think, completion of this particular piece right here. It's attached right to the Nelson Mandela School. But this was completed within the last 3 or 4 years. So we still are on Suter Street. And this bike lane that I'm walking parallel to, that's new within the last few years. That bike lane did not exist. So as I was mentioning earlier, with regard to Bloor West Village, did a nice walk on the main drag of Bloor West Village, right on Bloor Street. There's some lovely shops there, restaurants, little boutiques, cute coffee shops, pastry shops. Really a lovely, both sides of the street. There's just a lot of offerings for the residents. Now this has been renovated. This was renovated probably 5, 6 years ago. On the corner here you see Sumach Espresso, a coffee shop. That used to be a convenience store, a rather run-down convenience store. And now they have now there is living upstairs and this nice cute little coffee shop. That corner was really run down with the convenience store was really run down. It was quite dilapidated, but they've really done a good job with that right now. Kind of fits right into the neighborhood. That is Sumach Street that we've just passed. And we are walking to River. And here's a Sumach Shooter Parkette. So a lot of dog walkers come in here. The Humane Society is not far. And there's a nice little park here. So where the camera is angling, all these buildings that you're looking at are new. And when I mean new, less than 10 years old. Gentrification. Yeah, this looked really different. It was quite run down. 10 years ago, it was a really run down neighborhood. The living establishments were, some of them were quite dilapidated, but it's quite beautiful now. Yeah, really nice neighborhood now. Well, not that it wasn't nice before, it just mean aesthetically, it looks nicer. And earlier on, as I was mentioning, like the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, this area was also known for high crime. I think less so now. But it's a great location, Regent Park. So close to downtown and access to the Don Valley. Okay, now I am crossing at River. And I'm going to take a brief pause, and before you know it, I'll be right back, folks. Hi there, I'm back. I took a bit of a pause. It's about 2:30. No, it's about 12:30 in the afternoon right now. I think I left you just after 10. And I'm just continuing to walk up River Street. So we're at River and Suter, and we were doing the perimeter walk today of Regent Park. So now I'm heading northbound on River, and then I'm walking up to Gerrard. This is Labatt Street, and I'm heading up to Gerrard, and then I'm going to be walking westbound. So as I was mentioning, the neighborhood has changed significantly from 10 years ago. This is all new. This did not exist. There was housing here, but certainly not this housing. There was these lower units that you see here, the white ones. There were they were like 2 stories, I think. Yeah, probably 2 stories. Little townhomes. And there was far fewer, there was a bigger green space though. And now there's no green space, but those were torn down probably about 2014, I think, 2015. And then these were slowly erected. Like all these buildings here, they're all popping up. They're all popping up within the last 10 years. So on that note, Regent Park has like a 5-phased approach to revitalization, because as I was mentioning earlier, the housing was pretty substandard down here in Regent Park, and it was used a lot for or just immigrants came to this area because housing was cheaper, and that would make sense if there's substandard housing. But since 2005, I think David Miller, a former mayor, introduced sort of a beautification, revitalization of Regent Park. So the plan in 2005 was to demolish and rebuild Regent Park, which they have done. We are at Gerrard Street versus Dundas. This is Dundas. Gotta walk north. So what I'm gonna do is, big boo-boo here. I need to walk north to Gerrard. Oh, that looks heavy. What that fellow is carrying. Okay. There's a big Mercedes-Benz dealership. That's new too. The plan was in 2005, as I mentioned, to demolish and rebuild Regent Park. The third stage of the revitalization plan began in 2014. There are 5 stages in total. And that stage is to be completed this year or next year. So that means there's going to be 2 more stages that follow. I don't know what that will include. Like what specific streets or areas within Regent Park that will include. But in the 10 years that I've been frequenting this neighborhood, I have seen significant. You're limping, little guy. Oh, there's a pigeon here who's just got one one toe. Look at you. I don't know if you can see him. He's limping. Looks like maybe deformed. He's flying okay. He's getting around okay, but there's a bit of a limp because he doesn't have the 3-pronged bird foot. There's only one. It looks like it was deformed. But that's not just stopping him. So this is all Regent Park. Now the housing, gorgeous. So where the camera is angling right now, I'm going to actually try and cross up here. This is the old Regent Park housing. There's still some of these buildings in existence and they're still being occupied. And some of them are higher than these 3-story here. But this for sure, I'm sure these are going to be going because they are rather unsightly. They look so institutional, don't they? They look very institutional. So here, so what does it say? Changes proposed for this site. 4 to 38 stories, around 3,000 residences, retail, community space, room for parking of cars and bikes. So it looks pretty good. Wow, look at that. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, so that's so this complex here is part of that revitalization of Regent Park. That's good. So the people that live here, I'm not sure where they're going to be relocated to, but hopefully they will come back to the neighborhood and have nicer places to live in. Yeah, very unattractive. You know, I think probably one of the positives that I see here, because this is such a community environment, like they're all connected as far as sidewalks are concerned. Like there seems like an interior presence of commuting from one building to the other. So that could very well be, you know, this area could have a very good community presence, I would like to think. Here's Gerrard Street. Now some people say the boundaries are Dundas to the north, but according to Dr. Google, it is Suter. So now we are walking westbound. So Suter and Gerrard, the corner of Suter and Gerrard. Or am I saying Suter this whole time? It's River. Suter was the street that we started at moments ago. So I did it's sort of a 2-part walk in today's video. Came down this morning and started filming from Gerrard and then down Parliament and then across Suter. And then there's about an hour break, so I'm starting, like I mentioned, around 12:30 now. And I picked up at Suter and River. Now we're coming across Gerrard. So sorry if it was a bit confusing moments ago as to where I was. So it's nice to see snow. And look at the snow on the trees. It was a bit sunnier when I came out this morning. Blue skies, the sun was shining. It was melting the snow off the treetops. But I think it's cooled just a wee bit and the sun is no longer as vibrant as it was. And the snow is still on some of the treetops. Feels more like winter now. It was good to see the snow coming down yesterday because it just added a very lighting dimension against the consistent gray and brown of the city during the winter. So I will continue to walk westbound on the south side of Gerrard, and we're going to conclude the video where I started it, at Parliament and Gerrard. So I will have done a complete walk around the perimeter of Regent Park, and it's like, you know, walking in a square. So it's fairly straightforward. Can't get too lost. Yeah, I rarely come down Gerrard. It's just not when I do come down this neighborhood, I rarely walk across Gerrard. Oh, look at this teeny tiny little dog. It's a little Yorkie. Cutie patootie. He's so cute. It's unusual to see a street cleaner out at this time of year. I usually see it in the spring. Here's more notices. Yeah, that's similar. It's the same one as we saw initially. Yeah. So these will all be coming down. Yeah, and these folks will have nicer units to live in. This was all part of community housing way back, I think, in the day when they initially built this up. And it, as I mentioned, it was considered a transition neighborhood. And there was quite a bit of crime, and then it submerged, and then crime became a little bit more apparent after, I think, in the 60s, 70s. Yeah, there still is a lot. Now you can see further down the newer buildings, they're taller for one. They're not brown for another. But yeah, these probably all part of the revitalization area of Regent Park. Going to be now you see it, now you don't. Because 10 years, I mean, at least for me at my age, 10 years flies by. I remember 2013 like it was a couple of years ago. Like, that's how recent it seems to me, 10 years ago. And the older I get, faster time flies. Like I said, I've been coming down here for about the last 10 years, and I've seen a lot of change. A lot of these buildings have come down, new ones erected. And this corner that we're approaching right now, those were the same kind of, it's like vacant right now. It looks like it's a development site. But what stood where I'm pointing right now, you can see that it's a development area. What stood there were apartments like this size, all the way to Oak Street, which is about a block south of where we are now. See, and that's all new. Those buildings there are all new. So I think I said this Regent Park perimeter walk would be an hour. I have a feeling it's not. I could be wrong, but it feels a lot shorter. Even though I'm doing it, I did it in 2 phases, but or 2 different times of the day rather. It still feels it's maybe not as long as I anticipated, which is good for you guys. You don't have to listen to me last time, but I hope you enjoyed the perimeter walk of Regent Park. Just another neighborhood in our great city of Toronto. Thank you very much for joining me. Certainly hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Boomer Girl Walking, signing off.